Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited about today's video. It is a very much requested video by my YouTube subscribers, and that is for me to do a Q&A. So the majority of the questions that I've received from you guys are WW related, but I did receive quite a few additional questions that are more on the personal level, or maybe just, yeah, on the personal level, personal questions that you guys would like answered. So I'm really excited about this video. I hope that I'm able to answer all of the questions that you guys have. So where I got these questions from was both on my Instagram, which I will post at the bottom of the screen here, as well as on my channel. I did post in the community tab asking for you to share any questions that you would like answered in this Q&A. So if you want to get the answers to your most popular questions, stay tuned. So let's get started. I'm going to start with just the few personal questions that I've received. I have 3 of those total. So if I am looking down, I have all my questions written down here. I'm very organized, if you haven't noticed in my videos. So I wanted to make sure that I gave you the best video possible. So I did go ahead and type up my questions. So the first question that I have been asked by several of you is, how old am I? So I just turned 43. My 43rd birthday was November 18th. So I'm getting up there in age. So yeah, 43 is my age. Can I do a makeup tutorial? You guys have no idea how many of these questions that I've gotten. In fact, someone sent me a message today asking about a makeup tutorial. So yes, I would be willing to do one. But to be completely honest with you guys, my makeup routine is insanely simple. It takes me maybe 15 minutes to fully get ready as far as makeup goes. But yes, if you guys want to see a makeup tutorial, I am more than willing to do that. If this is something that you definitely want to see, leave that in the comments below. My last question was, what do I do for a living and how do I find time for YouTube with a full-time job and a family? So I am a human resource manager at a university here where I live. Yes, I work full-time. In fact, honestly, I probably work way more than full-time. And I do have a family. As you know, I have a husband, and then I have 2 fur babies, which you see in a lot of my videos, Diesel and Lola. So I make the time. It's important to me. Not only does it keep me accountable on my WW journey, but I'm able to help you guys. And that's exactly 150% why I started my channel in the first place and why I started my Instagram page. So I do it for you guys. I make the time. Honestly, the majority of my videos, aside from Vlogmas, are filmed on the weekends. And then that way it just allows me to focus 100% on YouTube. So that is everything that I received as far as personal questions go. The rest of the questions that I received are WW or weight loss journey related. So I'm going to start with the first question. What is my #1 tip for staying motivated and not weight loss related? So most people would say, oh, I see the number drop on the scale. So they want to know how I stay motivated that isn't shown on the scale. To be 150% transparent, which I'm going to be in all of the answers to my questions, I do it so my clothes fit better. It was getting to the point that a lot of my clothes were getting tight, or I was having to buy new clothes in a larger size. But I also do it because I want to feel better. I want to feel more comfortable in my skin. I want to feel more comfortable doing things out in public, being at work. I do a lot of presenting in front of employees and managers. And just the weight loss that I've lost so far, I'm 200% more comfortable doing those presentations. So those are the main reasons how I stay motivated. That is not weight loss related, seeing results. The next question is, what tips do I have between the end of the workday and dinner not to blow it? I've actually had this question come through several times. And honestly, you guys, my answer to that is plan ahead. Save some points, set aside that you have available to you to snack between the end of your workday and when you make dinner. Even if you are one of those people that snacks while you're making dinner, set some points aside so that you have the points available to snack. And that doesn't make you go over your points or blow your whole day just between the end of your work day or your school day and when you actually eat dinner. Now, if you don't use those points, you can use them to have a bigger helping at dinner, or maybe a dessert after dinner, or even roll over those extra points into your weeklies to use for a splurge day or some special event later in the week. But number one way to be successful on Weight Watchers is to plan ahead. The next question is, where do I find my recipes? So I do a lot of research online, as well as there are several people that I follow on Instagram. So I really like Drizzle Me Skinny, Emily Bites, The Skinny-ish Dish. And then there are a few people that I follow on Instagram that I get a lot of my recipes from. And I wrote those down here. I have WW Pound Dropper, all one word. She's great for resources for recipes. She actually has an entire recipe blog. I also love Felicia Fitness Health. I love her recipes. And then My Journey to Healthy, which is Jess. She also has a YouTube channel. I think her Instagram is Jess74, but she is a fantastic resource for recipes as well. And oftentimes I just Google what I want to make, and if I have to modify the recipe to fit it into WW, then I'll modify the recipe. So that is where I go to find recipes. The next question is, what are the pros and cons for the different plans? As you know, I have followed all of the plans, so this is a really good question. And they want to know between Freestyle, Points Plus, and Classic Points. So I'm going to start with Freestyle because that is the plan that I am on, that I have been on for the last 10 weeks. And that is the plan that I've seen the best results on. So some of the pros of Freestyle are you have a lot of 0 smart point items. So you have a lot of 0 smart point foods, which makes eating healthy easier because you're going to gravitate towards the foods that have 0 points so that you can save your points for other foods such as starches or sweets or whatever it is that you need to save your points for. So I absolutely love that about Freestyle. Also, I find on Freestyle that it's easy to dine out because if you do choose your protein based off of the 0 point proteins, your vegetable off of the 0 point vegetables, then again, all you have to account for are your starches and any fats that are added in the cooking process. So those are the pros of Freestyle. The cons, and the biggest con for me on Freestyle, is that anything that's sweet costs a lot of points. And as you know, I love my sweets, but I have found a couple of really good sweet alternatives. Number one on my list are Smart Sweets. I do have a discount code for free shipping with $30 or more on Smart Sweets. So I'm going to put that on the screen and link it in the description box below. You guys cannot go wrong with Smart Sweets. It is only 3 smart points for a full size package of either fruity or sour gummies, and they are better than the sugar laden ones that you find in the store. Now let's move on to Points Plus. What do I feel that are the pros of Points Plus? So the number one pro for me is, again, sugar costs less on Points Plus than it does on Smart Points. So let me give you an example. So the Fiber One brownies on Smart Points or Freestyle are 4 Smart Points. Now, if you have that same brownie on Points Plus, it's only 2. So there's a big difference between Points Plus and Freestyle or Smart Points, sugar related. Also, with Points Plus, you do get more weeklies, so that can also be seen as a pro for Points Plus. Now, some of the cons for Points Plus I found when I did it is I was choosing less healthier options. So, for example, on Freestyle, eggs are 0 points. On Points Plus, eggs cost 2 points. So I'm certainly not going to have 2 eggs for breakfast because that's going to cost me 4 points plus. Where on Freestyle, I have eggs every single day. You also have to count all of your protein, your lean protein on Points Plus. So I would make other options, steak, hamburger, because it didn't really matter because all of my proteins cost me points. So I found that I just wasn't eating as healthy, and I also was definitely eating more sugar items on Points Plus because their points value was less. So more processed, more sugar, where those things cost more on Freestyle. I geared myself a little bit more towards those on Points Plus, which is definitely a con because we should be definitely making healthier choices on WW so that we can sustain the program long term. Lastly, the pros and cons for Classic. So On the classic plan, that is where you calculate the fiber, the calories, the protein. So on that plan, everything has a lesser point value. So anything and everything, the points are less. However, you do receive less daily points as well. So it does kind of compensate for that difference. But again, your sugary, starchy, processed items are less on classic points than they are on even points plus and freestyle. So if you gear yourself towards those type of foods, then that would definitely be a pro for classic points. And then as far as cons go, you definitely get less points per day on classic points. But again, your foods cost less. And again, it just didn't encourage me to eat the healthy options because they had points. And another tip on classic points, fruits, you have to count fruits. So fruits range anywhere from 1 to 3 points on the classic plan. So again, I didn't find myself eating a lot of fruit because I had to count points for them versus having them be 0 on both points plus and freestyle. The next question is, when and why did I start WW? So I've done WW a handful of times, a lot of times, but this last time I decided to join an 150 million trillion % commit, and that meant joining WW meetings, consistently going to those meetings. So I did join on September 28th was my join date. I have yet to miss a meeting, and I have lost weight every single week but 3 since I started going to meetings. And if you follow my channel, you know that I had to shift some of the food items I was eating at work and start packing my lunch again. And ever since then, the scale has dropped every single week. So I do WW to feel better, to look better, to make my clothes fit, and of course, to live a healthier lifestyle in general, something that I can sustain long term. My next question is, what do I have for an after dinner snack? So let me tell you a couple of the things that I do. I do a mild version of intermittent fasting. So I do not eat past 6 p.m. And then I do not eat again until between 7:30 and 8 a.m. the following day. So I have anywhere from a 13 to a 14-hour fast every day. And I really feel like that gives my stomach a chance to digest my food. And I really believe that that aids in weight loss. So I have been doing no eating past 6 p.m. So after dinner, I always have dessert. Always, always, always. If you follow my Instagram, you see that I am constantly having dessert every night. So that is something I plan for. That is something I save points for. I don't eat past 6. However, if I am hungry or if I'm craving something sweet or I just need something, my go-to is a hot cup of tea. I literally have like 10 types of tea, and I will just steep myself a hot cup of tea, and that curbs any craving or anything that I want, and it keeps me satisfied so that I can then stay on my intermittent fasting and not cheat past that 6 p.m. time mark. Plan ahead, save some points, and don't eat past the time that you feel is most beneficial for you. I feel like I sleep better. I feel like it aids in my weight loss. My next question is, how do I determine my goal weight? So this is a question that I feel is debatable. So WW determines your weight goal based on the BMI calculator, BMI schedule, what the doctor says that you should weigh. But let me tell you, my high end of my height, and I am almost 5'9", is a weight that I will never get to, nor do I think I would even be remotely healthy. I think I would look sick. I think I would look malnourished. So I am going to determine my goal weight 100% based on how I feel. What weight am I comfortable at? What weight do I feel that is sustainable for me? And then I will seek medical advice that I will then share with WW to see if that can be my weight goal. So it is going to be 100% based on how I feel and a weight that I know that I can sustain long term. This next question is one that I get a lot. I think there's a lot of confusion around this question, and that is, how many smart points do I get per day and why? So the least amount of smart points that you can have while losing is 23. However, that does go up to 28 once you're on maintenance. Now, smart points are based on several factors: your age, your height, and your weight. So the more you weigh, the more smart points that you get. Okay, so as of right now, as of my weigh-in on Friday, I now get 33 smart points a day. Now, eventually, I'll probably be at 23, but because I have that weight to lose, I am given those extra points. WW does that because if I only ate 23 points a day, that is not enough for me at my height and my weight, that I would literally be malnourished. So I am given 33 smart points per day. So don't mistake that everybody gets 23 because, again, it is based on those things such as your age, your height, and your weight. The next question that I have is, do I take supplements? The only supplement that I take is a gummy daily vitamin. There are times if I can't sleep that I will take melatonin, and it is just a dissolvable pill that I place under my tongue that I think I showed in my October favorites. That is very rare that I take that. I'm exhausted most nights, but I always take a daily gummy vitamin. The next question is, do I exercise and what is my routine? So no, at this point in my journey, I have not been exercising. The reason for that is because with my new job, which I started about 2 weeks into my most recent journey, so about 8 weeks ago, I do a lot of walking. My office is upstairs. We do not have an elevator, so I do take about a flight and a half of stairs every time I go up to my office. And because I do work on a campus, I do a lot of walking around, being the human resource manager. And anytime there's a documentation or a write-up or an issue, I do have to walk over to that part of campus. So at this point, I don't have a scheduled exercise regimen because of A, the number of hours that I work, and B, because my work allows me the option to get some exercise during the day. Will I have a scheduled exercise regimen? Yes. I'm just not sure what that looks like or what that timeline is. So I am proof that you can lose weight on WW without an exercise program. Next question is, what am I most excited about to hit my goal weight? This is something that I literally dream about in my sleep. This is something I think about a lot. But there are two main things that I am excited about to hit my goal weight. Number one is to be able to feel better and move better. I want to be able to move around better, be less fatigued, be less hot, and also just feel better in my skin. So number one is that. Number two is I want to not avoid the mirror anymore. That is something that I struggle with. I avoid full-length mirrors. I avoid mirrors pretty much at all costs. So I want to be able to stop in front of a mirror and go, hey, once I hit my goal weight. So that is something that I very much look forward to when I get to that point in my journey. The next question is, what is my goal weight and how much have I lost? So again, I do not have a set goal weight because I am going to determine that on how I'm feeling at whatever weight I determine is my personal goal weight. But as of today, I weighed in on Friday. I weigh in Friday mornings. This is week 10 for me. I have lost 18.4 pounds. So I am 1.6, you guys, 1.6 away from hitting 20 pounds, which was my goal to do in the month of December, which is now my goal to do next Friday when I weigh in again. The next question is, have I been on Weight Watchers before or WW, and have I had success? So this is a sensitive question for me, and not one that I typically like to share. But again, I told you I was going to be transparent with you. So yes, I have been on WW several times, but back in the early 2000s, so around 2003, I joined WW with the gumption and the motivation that I have again today, and I lost 125 pounds. I came within 1 pound of my goal weight before I stopped going to meetings. So I never was able to hit lifetime, which I kick myself every single day about. I literally was 1 pound away from my goal weight and then would have just had to maintain that for those 6 weeks and I would have been a lifetime member. So I did lose 125 pounds, most of which I have gained back over the course of the last, say, 13 years, which is why I have started over in my WW journey. I don't know how much I want to lose yet. I'm taking it day by day, but I'm thrilled with the fact that I've lost over 18 pounds in just 10 weeks. The next question is, do I prefer freestyle or classic? So as I mentioned before, I prefer freestyle because I really like the 0 point foods. Now, here's a tip on freestyle. don't overdo the 0-point foods. They still have calories, you guys. So be cognizant of the amount of 0-point foods that you're eating. If I eat a lot of 0-point foods in a day, I typically don't eat all of my points because I have consumed more 0-point foods, which have led me to be satiated where I don't need to eat all of my points. So I prefer Freestyle because of that, and also because I find myself making much healthier choices, like I mentioned before on the Freestyle plan. But again, do whatever plan works for you. As long as you're working the plan, do what works for you, girl. All right, next is, what is my favorite go-to snack? Built Bars. I, as you know, am obsessed with the Built Bar. I literally have every person I know having Built Bars, including all of the people at my work that aren't even on any type of weight loss journey because they're that good. So I do have several codes for the Built Bar that I'm going to link in the description box below. So please, you guys, if you haven't tried them, try them. They are a protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. They only have 3 smart points for the entire bar, which is about the size of a Snickers candy bar. And literally, they are the best protein bar that I have ever had in my entire life. So again, if you haven't tried the Built Bar, I highly encourage you to give it a try. And again, I do have some discount codes that I will put down in the description box. So try them. If you've tried them, if you ordered them, leave that in the comments below for me as well. All right, next question. What is my guilty pleasure? Okay, so this is a question that ties with, do I use my weekly points? Do I have a cheat day? Yes, I do. I have a cheat day or a splurge day, or let's call it a day that I use my weeklies every single week. I do not track that day. I do not know what points I eat. I do save up my weeklies and my rollovers. Do I probably go over the amount of points that I have in the bank? Absolutely, but I don't track that day. It's typically Saturday because that's the day that I'm able to go to dinner or breakfast with my husband. But I always, always, always have a splurge day. I always use my weekly points because it's important for me to have something to look forward to. Although I don't feel unsatisfied on WW, there are certain foods, being a sweets eater, that I want to have, like cookies or cake, that I can't have because it would just eat up all of my regular smart points. So I save that for my splurge day. 100% I have a splurge day every single week without fail. Without fail. Next question. What do I tell myself when I gain weight to not get discouraged and to get back on track? So as you know, I did gain 0.6 one week, 0.4 one week, and maintained an additional week. So there have been 3 out of the 10 weeks on WW that I have not lost weight. Now that I think about that, that's crazy. So basically in 7 weeks, I've lost almost 19 pounds. Wow. Anyway, back to the question at hand. So for me, when I see a gain or I don't see the loss that I'm anticipating based on my eating or my exercise or staying on program, I always, always, always look at how far I've come. So I say to myself, hey, Jen, you could weigh 18.4 pounds more than you do right now. Or you can be happy with the success that you've had on the scale, even if it wasn't what you were expecting. So I will tell you that those 3 weeks, which were 3 weeks in a row that I either gained or maintained, not once did I get discouraged. Not once did I eat my feelings. I stayed on plan. I kept trucking. I just made some shifts in food and bringing my lunch again to work. And then bam, the scale has dropped. So don't get discouraged. Think about how far you've come. I also think about if I were to quit now over this gain or the results not being exactly what I expected, I'd probably gain everything I've lost back and most likely more. And I never, ever want to have that happen again. I never want to gain back for a second time what I've lost. I never want to feel that way again. So I remind myself of how far I've come and what would happen if I quit. And then lastly, if I gain today, tomorrow's a new day. I get a whole fresh set of points. It's a whole new day. I hit my reset button and I start all over the following day. Next week will be better. That is something that I tell myself every time I don't see the results that I want on the scale. The next question is, what would I tell the old me before I started this WW journey? This is a great question. Thank you, Active Rachel Ann on YouTube, for giving me this question. It is one that I really had to think about and contemplate, and I came up with some key points. So my food choices prior to starting WW were absolutely horrible. horrible. I ate whatever I want, whenever I want. I would eat a ton of food after dinner before bed on most nights. My food choices were horrible, which then led to binge eating, which is also something that I know a lot of you struggle with. And I'm telling you, WW helps you correct binge eating because you only are allowed so many points per day that you can't binge on food, or at least unhealthy food, because it would eat up all of your points, then putting you off track. Then you wouldn't have the success that you should have on WW. So my binge eating days are over. I don't even binge eat on my splurge day, which is a huge win for me. And also, I look back and I think I probably wouldn't live as long as I want to and as healthily as I want to if I didn't join WW. So literally, you guys, WW, once again, has saved my life. I love this program. I could not do something that isn't sustainable. For example, no harm to those of you that do it. I couldn't do keto because keto is not sustainable for me. I couldn't do a liquid diet or Slim Fast or Atkins. I can't do those. They're not something that I can sustain lifetime forever on. So WW, that's the program. And the last question, and this is a great question for this time of year, is what's my plan for Christmas? So I preach in my weigh-in videos that, you guys, this is the holidays days. This isn't the holiday weeks or the holiday months. This is the holidays. So my plan, which I'm going to stick to, right? This isn't even a negotiable plan, is because I have my one splurge day or my one cheat day per week, I am going to split those points, so my weeklies and rollovers, between Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I probably will use the majority of my weeklies on Christmas Eve, and then I will save the remainder for dinner on Christmas Day. And then come the day after Christmas, you guys, 150% back on track, just like I did for Thanksgiving. I ate whatever I wanted on Thanksgiving, but Friday I was 100% back on track, and I lost almost 2 pounds that week. No, I'm sorry, I lost 2.8 the week after Thanksgiving. So I just got back on track, and that is my plan again for the holiday or the Christmas season. So Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, that's it. Now, if I want to use my weeklies for New Year's, I have that option, but I probably won't because I probably won't do anything. But remember, you guys, it's a holiday, not a holiday week or a holiday month. So keep that in your head and don't go off course all month, because you're literally going to wind up in the weight loss Bermuda Triangle that goes between Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Don't wind up in there, because it will suck you up and spit you out at the new year, and you're going to have a lot more to do to get that weight off come the new year. So that is it for the questions that you asked me for my Q&A. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that I answered some of the probing questions that you had for me. And of course, I want to take another moment to thank all of you for everything, for all of your love and support, for all of your thumbs up on my videos, and for being my biggest accountability. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You guys mean more to me than you would ever know. So thank you again. Happy holidays, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.